I love the Tron franchise. Tron is one of my favorite franchises to ever exist. I love pretty much everything about it. I love the first 80s Tron movie, and while I put the obligatory the graphics haven't aged well thing, it's still a great movie. You can say that the graphics are dated. Absolutely. But you know what isn't dated about that movie? The story. The story's not dated. The characters aren't dated. The just imagination and wonder that movie brings is not dated. So you can say the graphics are dated, but everything else about the movie still holds up completely. Absolutely. And then you have Tron Legacy. Tron Legacy is one of my favorite movies of all time. I love pretty much everything about that movie. It introduces us to a entirely new grid, which opened the door to so many possibilities that it's insane. And then there's Tron Uprising, the TV show which spawned from it, which showed you life under the Clue occupation. And I love Tron Uprising. I wanted my 3 seasons in a TV movie, but Disney ruins everything. I love Tron. I love just all of it. Recognizers, the light cycles, the light jets, the identity discs, everything about Tron I adore completely. It's one of my favorite things. And for a while, it was those 3 things: the 2 movies, the show, the video games. I was content with, I would love to see more of Tron, right? I'd love a Tron 3, but at least I can say if Tron's never touched again, all the stuff in it's good. I could at least say that. So when Disney announced Tron Ares was gonna be a thing, I went, oh no. That was my first thought. Because I don't want current day Disney to touch anything I love. And now they were coming back for Tron. And I will give it to them. Those first 2 trailers, I loved them. I thought they were really good, and I was genuinely going, okay, we might get something. We might get a good movie here. Now, I was then slowly losing faith in it when it was revealed that none of the cast from Tron Legacy was going to be returning for this movie. The only one would be for Jeff Bridges, and that was going to probably be for the token cameo. But Bruce Boxleitner wasn't even asked to come back for this movie. There was going to be no Sam. There was going to be no Cora. There was going to be no Edward Dillinger Jr. I was very, very disappointed that you're not continuing what Tron Legacy set up, because what Tron Legacy set up was so much. Because there's so much you can deal with. Cora and ISO is now in the real world. How does that work? Is she considered a human, or is she considered a different species because of the way? Or is she just a different type of human? How's the world going to react to that? To the idea of the grid that Kevin Flynn was propping up before he disappeared. And now Sam can introduce them to that. How's that going to work? What comes of the grid now that, it needs to be rebuilt after what happened? What comes of the grid after that? There's so much we can go into. And I was like, oh, but we're not going to, because none of them are here for this. So that was a disappointment, but it could still be a good movie even without the legacy cast. We can still get a good movie. And I kind of started to then again lose hope when you hear what one of the producers or directors said about the movie when we got the plot synopsis of it. And it said that Sam Flynn almost bankrupt Encom before it was taken over and saved by the new CEO. And I just went, oh no, we're doing it again. We're doing the Disney trope of destroying the legacy male characters to prop up a female one. Oh dear God. So that wasn't fun, right? That I was not excited for that. And then I came to the decision, right? I tried to stay away from trailers after that, because I'm like, if I watch more trailers, I'm going to hate this more. So my process was see it opening weekend, right? So I can just watch it. I did a Tron marathon leading up to this. I rewatched the 82 movie, I rewatched Legacy for the 15th, 100th time, and I rewatched the entirety of Tron Uprising for, I believe, the 3rd time. That show just gets better and better. So I was ready, right? I literally finished the last episode of Uprising before going to the theater. So I was in the Tron mood. I was freaking ready. And I had heard, because, you know, when you're in the you know, like the pop culture bubble, you do get to hear what reviews are like, right? Without like even reading them, right? Before like, you know, review embargoes, you know, break, you get just like basic generic reviews, and none of them were positive for Tron. And I was like, oh no, it's what I feared. So here are some reviews from the public, from the people, you, the public. So first up, we have one from Nerd Cookies, who is one of the sweetest people on the internet, and she has been making tons of Tron videos. And she said, I have to say a big thank you to the writers of Tron Ares for not bringing back Sam Flynn, Cora, Alan Bradley, or Tron. Their work proves that they wouldn't have been able to do those characters justice. Then we have Gary, who is less nice and forgiving than Nerd Cookies, which is Tron Ares is quintessential 2025 Disney slop. Creatively bankrupt garbage with a supersized side of girl boss. They got rid of Sam Flynn, so strong, diverse female protagonists can take over Kevin Flynn's company. Don't waste your time. Then we have Tron Ares is bloody terrible. Madam Web levels of writing. Every line is explaining every obvious thing that is happening in the movie. The only 2 conversations in the film are both about Depeche Mode. Then Chris Gore from Film Threat goes, if you drink 7 of these, I'm told Tron Ares is actually pretty good. So seeing all of that, I was going, oh no. And these are all people whose opinions I value and respect. But to be fair, there's positive ones. So I found one here, which is Tron Ares is a modern sci-fi masterpiece. Epic, stunning visuals that demand to be seen in IMAX, accompanied by a story that never stops moving. The phenomenal music from Nine Inch Nails is a character unto itself. Extremely approachable for those unfamiliar with the previous films. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's a positive review. What'd you think of the other Tron movies? Tron Ares finally made us a fan of Tron, something the previous 2 films failed to do. Oh. So this is someone who didn't like Tron before saying that they like Tron Ares, this movie. That doesn't incite hope in me. That means this movie is less Tron. Then we have this one from Utterly Noah, who says, this is the best poster they've done yet. So glad to see the Klaxon pose replicated across all 3. When you look at all 3 of these posters, right? Like, you look at all 3. You have the original Tron, Tron Legacy, and Tron Ares. They do the whole, you know, the disc up in the air. What's missing from Ares? Do you guys notice something that's missing from Tron Ares? Where's the girl? You notice that? One of these things is not like the other. So even from that, I saw all 3. I'm like, oh Lord. Then he went out and said, Tron Ares was so good, you guys. Oh my god, it's absolute Tronema. I want to die. Can we just send the meteor now, please? Then he said, and this is responding to a tweet Nerd Cookies had tweeted, where she was she took a screenshot of one of the names of the songs in the soundtrack called Forked Reality, and she was, you know, wondering, are they going to do a thing in this where it's like, you know, an alternate reality type of thing? And then Utterly Noah said, I love how poorly this tweet aged. This is why you wait to see a film to form an opinion, instead of coming up with fanfic theories based on song titles on the soundtrack. Tron Ares is very much set in the same universe as the previous 2, and it's great. Here's the thing, fucker. That's what fans do. Coming up with theories based on song titles of the soundtrack is a basic fundamental thing that fans do to try and form of what happens in the movie. Were you motherfuckers not just going through the Superman soundtrack and thinking because there was a little bit of a song that sounded like something in the way that Robert Pattinson was gonna show up in it? So you can fucking miss me with that shit. What is this dude even
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
But it's not just the people. Even the publications aren't buying this. So from the Telegraph, Tron Ares is so bad it makes you wish AI would hurry up and destroy Hollywood. I hope so. A shambolic film populated by some of the most aggressively charmless characters ever seen in a blockbuster 1 out of 5. Then we have The Guardian. Tron Ares review. Skip this hack sequel, just download the soundtrack. Greta Lee and Jared Leto headline Disney's pathetic, generic, idea-free brand exploitation, but Nine Inch Nails is blameless. I do agree there. That's from The Guardian, who they freaking love this garbage that we have in Hollywood. Tron Ares is the worst film of the year and a new low for Disney 1 out of 5. The music's great, but this Jared Leto vehicle is otherwise an ethically dubious, horribly written nadir in franchise slop. That's not going well, is it? And then we have Rotten Tomatoes, which, yes, Rotten Tomatoes is a compromise site. You can't trust it for anything, right? You literally can't trust it for anything. But for once in their lives, the critics got it right. Tron Ares sits at a 55 critic score. Now, it does sit at an 87 audience score, but considering the positive reviews it got from the people I showed you, I doubt these people actually have a functioning brain. So the critic consensus is a sensory feat of vivid neon hues and a hypnotic soundtrack. Tron Ares is gorgeous to behold, but too narratively programmatic, I can read, to achieve an authentically human dimension. When Rotten Tomatoes is speaking truth, we got a problem here. And now there was a Deadline article where they were trying to cope about why Tron Ares isn't doing, and they, in this article, said the male-heavy Tron Ares. They have to acknowledge that Tron is a male brand. Especially later in the article, they go on to show that I believe it was 68% of the people who went to go see this movie during the weekend was men, because Tron's a male franchise. In fact, it was actually my demo, 18 to 49, that mainly went to see it, which some people may say they find that surprising. I guess, yeah, because, you know, Tron's like an 80s franchise type of thing, but, I mean, when it's good, you know? So there we go, all that was what I was leading into with this movie. So then I went to sit in VIP for this one, baby. I got nice recliner chairs, I got to order food, and they brought the food to you. Oh, it was beautiful. Oh my god. So then, the movie started, the movie ended, and here's what I have to say about Tron Ares. Finally getting into the review of what I thought about Tron Ares. So, let's do some positives. I'm going to go rapid fire. This is not going to be cohesive in the slightest. I'm not going to go scene by scene or anything. I just have notes, and I'll go through them, and if stuff pops in my head, we're going to get there. So this is going to be a bit of a jumbled mess all over the place. So, if you've seen the movie, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, well, don't. So, positives about the movie. Visually, this movie's stunning. I think the special effects are fantastic. They're just like Tron Legacy. They are wonderful, right? They are wonderful. I like the action scenes that they're done when we're in the real world. It's really cool seeing, you know, the Tron light bikes go through like traffic and the recognizers show up and break buildings. That's all really cool looking. And just like, you know, when they go into the grids, like it all looks very Tron, and I think it is very well done. Absolutely. So you get a positive thumbs up from me for visuals. This is a beautiful, stunning movie. The special effects are really good. You get that from me. Absolutely. Then there is the soundtrack, the Nine Inch Nails soundtrack. Like that article said, it's like the soundtrack is blameless. It is blameless because the soundtrack is the best part of this movie. That Nine Inch Nails soundtrack is great. I was listening to some of it before the movie came out because they did the smart thing and released the soundtrack on Spotify a couple days earlier. And yeah, Nine Inch Nails, you did a great job. It's no Daft Punk, right? We have to say that. It's no Daft Punk, but it's a good soundtrack. There's plenty of great songs on that soundtrack. It feels like a Tron soundtrack, definitely. So those are positives. So let's get into the plot here, right, for what we got. So the big plot is Encom and Dillinger Systems are both racing to find this thing called the Permanence Code. And what the Permanence Code does, it allows programs and things from the grid to survive in the world permanently, hence the name. And they're both trying to race to find it. That's the basic gist of it, right? So in the first like minute of the movie, you pissed me off immediately when they say that NCOM, and they start it with like an homage to Legacy when it's like, Kevin Flynn disappears and they do all that exposition and they have like, like the TV screens. They do something like that to start it off. When they say that Sam Flynn left NCOM for personal reasons. That's it. That's all we get. That's literally all you get. So why Sam left? He left for personal reasons. He left for personal reasons and destroyed the company on his way out, only to be replaced by a girl boss female. Oh, fucking joy. Yeah, so the Sam Flynn disrespect in this movie is real. They really hate this guy. My God. There is also another scene where the Dillinger CEO makes fun of Sam for being a quitter. Great. Right, like there's just so much Sam Flynn just hatred in this movie, and I hate you for that. I really hate you for that. You could have asked Garrett Hedlund, and dude, he would have come back in a heartbeat. God damn it, man. Yeah, that's what they do. That's what they do with Sam in this movie. He's just left for personal reasons, guys. He's gone. You do get more snippets of him, like how he installed a like museum kind of remake of his father's office inside NCOM, and you get a newspaper clipping of him and Cora, and it says, "Who's Sam Flynn's mystery woman?" Right? But that's it, man. That's it. They replace him with a female character who literally does everything he should have been doing. Everything she does in this movie, all the achievements and accolades that they give her, that should have been Sam. But they do what they always do. We must destroy the legacy characters that came before and replace them with a female character. And this is Disney's MO for years. They did it with Star Wars, where Rey replaces Luke. They did it with Willow. They did it with National Treasure, the TV show. Do you remember the National Treasure TV show? Huh? Yeah, they did that too. They do this all the time. This is a Disney MO. And this is even before freaking they got like super freaking into like, the cultural politics and all that. Like, do you guys remember that the sequel to Boy Meets World was Girl Meets World? Like, they do this all the time, man. We can never have a powerful son anymore. It's always got to be either a powerful daughter or another girl who has no connection to anything comes in and takes over. That's what it has to be, right? And that's exactly what they do. Eve Kim, the new CEO, completely takes everything from the Flynn family. Like, we move away from the Flynn family completely. They're gone now, right? And they act like Eve's gonna be the one to take on Kevin Flynn's legacy. She ain't part of no goddamn Flynn family legacy. Shut up. Pisses me off. So then we get Julian Dillinger, who is Edward Dillinger's grandson. So my problem was, I'm like, how the fuck can you say in the 15 years actually, since Tron Legacy, that we now have a grandson when Ed Dillinger, like, because if it was like, do you see my problem here? Because Edward Dillinger Jr. is in Tron Legacy, so did he already have a kid? Right? Like, and how is the kid this old now? Like, do you see the problem? They do end up fixing that where it's not Edward Dillinger Jr.'s son, it's his sister's son. I don't remember her name. She wasn't important enough for me to remember. It's her son, and he runs Dillinger Systems. And he has invented a way to get, things from the grid into the real world using some sort of laser, right? They don't explain how he invented the laser or what it does. It just makes it like a 3D printer. No explanation as to how he got to this point. Just has it. He just has it. Through his little demonstration, which he gives to, like, his shareholders, like, oh, I can make you weapons, and I can invent completely 100% disposable pilots for them, and all that type of gobbledygook. And then through them, it's revealed that, programs from the grid can only survive 29 minutes before they get derezzed and returned to the grid. Which is why he wants the permanence code. So, Eve Kim finds the permanence code relatively easy, to be honest with you. She finds it pretty easily. It was in like a base Kevin Flynn had in Alaska. on a computer, she finds the permanence code there. This is rendered redundant later on when they go to NCOM and they need to, get Ares to find the permanent, because they lose the permanence code later, and then they need Ares to find it again. So they go to that office replica in NCOM where they use the computer there to like, oh look, the permanence code is there, Ares, you can just go in and get it. So then my question is, why the fuck did she go to Alaska if it's in her building? She could have just found the permanence code in her building. We didn't have to do this freaking super long search. You could have just gone to your building. It's right there where your laser is, where your grid laser is there. But Eve finds the permanence code. She makes an orange tree, and the orange tree doesn't dissipate after 29 minutes. I think they say they stay there for 4 hours and it's still going. So she's like, I got the permanence code. So then Julian was like, okay, she has the permanence code. He sends Ares and Athena, who is Jodie Turner-Smith, the Acolyte, to go after her, pretty much kill her, get the code, all that type of junk, right? So that's where we get a cool action scene with Ares and Athena trying to find Eve Kim. This whole time this action scene's going on, I'm like, this is supposed to be Sam. Because Eve also drives a Ducati bike. She also manages to find a way to get onto a light cycle and drive it. I'm like, yeah, you mean this was what Sam was going to do in the movie, and you just took him out to put Eve in, because this feels exactly like what Sam should be doing. I will say that Eve, okay, she does struggle a bit to start the bike and like drive it, but then she gets it really easily, and then she starts driving it like she's known it forever. That doesn't make any fucking sense. It like in the slightest. Like, come on, if it was Sam doing it, it makes sense, because he's been to the grid, he knows how to ride a light bike. Yeah. So eventually Eve does get sent into the grid thanks to Dillinger. And okay, here's where another problem happens. So she gets sent into the grid, and then she shows up there. They demonstrate in this movie they don't understand how identity discs work. So what happens is Eve gets she's fully brought into the grid, but she stands there frozen until the disc is put on her back. Now clearly someone didn't watch Tron Legacy, which very much is this movie. Because users don't need an identity disc to really function. Sam, when he was sent into the grid, didn't have an identity disc and was working just fine. That's why they thought he was a stray. An identity disc is needed definitely for programs, because without an identity disc, they lose their sense of selves, start to get amnesia, and they start to just become husks, right? Which is why they're strays. Users' identity discs, at least at the start, don't work that way. It could be different after, when it's put on their back and it calibrates them. Maybe it works that way. But for the start, if they don't have an identity disc on, they're still fine. But they demonstrate they don't understand how identity discs work. So now that they have the identity disc on Eve, Julian tells them to extract the permanence code from her memory, essentially, right? Because she destroys the permanence code during the chase, so that way, aha, you can't get it, no one can get it. But they're like, we'll just steal the code from you, because, it's in your identity disk. This is where Ares makes his turn, because he realizes with the permanence code, I can be real, because Ares has a bit of moments where he, wants to be real. And this is where we can kind of go into Ares a bit here. I thought Ares as a character had potential, and they just never really go much with him, right? He's got there's ideas with him. I'm like, oh, I like that, but we don't really go anywhere. I do like how he has different identity disc than pretty much anyone else, because he is the leader. They call him Master Control, because you guys like the first Tron, right? Master Control. So Master Control has a triangular disc, which is the same shape as the laser, like the Dillinger laser that they have. So that's a nice little thing there. I like how Dillinger's programs in this movie are all robotic, while the NCOM grids that we see in Legacy have personality. They're people, right? That could have been explored to show, the difference of how these grids are run. Flynn lets his programs be on their own, be people, be free, while Dillinger makes them subservient, robotic. They are full on what their programming is, type of thing, right? That's a cool idea. That doesn't get touched upon in this movie. And then Ares' journey of becoming more aware, he wants to be permanent, he wants to live, is pretty much when he just does his exposition dump on Eve, where to find out about Eve, he goes through her phone, and that's where you get an exposition dump about Eve, where her sister died. Her sister was one of the two CEOs of Encom. Her sister was more of the Kevin Flynn side of wanting to progress humanity forward, while Eve was the video game side, and she was making video games and all that type of stuff. And then when her sister died, Eve pivoted more towards being like her sister to carry on her legacy. Fuck you for saying that, by the way. So Ares, tells Eve, if you help me with the permanence code, I'll help you get out of this. And they agree. That leads to a pretty good action scene where they're on boats and all that. Yeah. From there, we have Ares and Eve. They get to Encom, where they do that stupid thing where I mentioned, why'd you go to Alaska if Kevin Flynn's computer there in Encom has the permanence code. We meet Seth, who's Athena's buddy. He's supposed to be comic relief. He's just an annoying fuckwit. Really. He's the typical comic relief you see now in Hollywood where they think, oh, he's going to be so funny. And then you just roll your eyes and I want every bad thing to happen to you. Okay, and now Ares is sent to... There's multiple grids in this movie, okay? So the first grid is the Dillinger grid, which is all red, right? It's all red. How was this grid invented? How did Dillinger get the capability to make a grid himself? No clue. Doesn't talk about it. He's just got a grid. Cool. So then when Dillinger hacks into Encom's system, you get to see the Encom grid, the grid from Tron Legacy. And it looks very different than how it used to be looking Legacy. And I'm like, you know what would have been really cool? Is if we had a movie exploring how that grid was remade. Right? How Sam went in there and he, like his dad, rebuilt the grid. Built the grid from scratch up, tried to make it better. Tron would have been there helping him. He would have made the same mistakes with Clue, right? We could have had that. Nope. So they hack into the Legacy grid, right? And they just butcher it. All of the blue Encom programs you saw just get fucking decimated. They literally just get fucking destroyed. So I'm watching this going, great. I love seeing just the entirety of Tron Legacy. You just telling me they fucking suck. And then it ends with them literally bombing their fucking grid. They literally destroy the Encom grid. So literally, I love seeing the Tron Legacy grid that I spent the entirety of Tron Legacy in get fucking destroyed. I love seeing that. And then the final grid is the 80s Tron grid, which is just nostalgia bait. It's just be you guys remember Tron? Remember Tron? Remember the 80s Tron?
Hey, remember Ghostbusters? Oh, I remember. Remember Slimy?
And they do the thing where it's Ares, when he gets on a light bike, it looks all 80s aesthetic and all that type of stuff. This was pointed out. This doesn't make sense. Why is it all 80s? It shouldn't be like that. It's not literally that the graphics are literal 80s graphics. It's because of the meta context that's the best we could do at the time with the graphics. Realistically, the grid should look probably like how the other grids look. It's not literal. It's not a literal sense that grid looks 85 like that. No, it should look like how the other grids look. It only looks that way because of the technology we had in the fucking early 80s. But like I said, it's nostalgia. And while Ares is in this grid, he meets Kevin Flynn, or a ghost of Kevin, or a part of Kevin. They don't actually kind of tell you what he is. When Ares asks, "Are you here?" Kevin's response is, "I only exist because you are here." Great fucking answer, thanks. So Kevin exists here just to give Ares the permanence code, and he's fascinated with Ares breaking his programming and becoming an actual being, right? And feeling things. Kevin, you created an entire fucking grid full of programs like that. That is literally what you did. Why are you so, like, blown away by Ares when you have hundreds, thousands of programs that you made that are better than him in that aspect? So he gives Ares the permanence code. Doesn't ask about Sam in the slightest. How's my son doing? How's my kid doing? Nothing. Doesn't ask about Sam at all. So while Ares is doing all this, Athena is sent to go after Eve, and she is made master control now. And Dillinger gives her the command, get Eve Kim, take her to the grid, and extract the permanence code from her by any means necessary. Oh, is that going to come back to bite him in the ass? It does, because Athena kills his mother, because his mother got in the way. His mother's death is fucking abysmal. So she gets stabbed by Athena's, her identity disc, which is now triangular as well. And, Julian's, like, holding his mom, like, oh shit, I didn't mean for this, right? Because the whole thing, their thing is, in the movie, is his mother's like, you're stupid, you're doing this wrong, you can't control this, you need to stop. And he just brushes her off, going, ha, you're gonna see what a genius I am, type of thing, right? And then she gets stabbed, and he's like, oh my god, no, I didn't mean for this, right? And his mother's final words to him is, this is all your fault. Okay, great. I'm like, really? That's the final words his mom says? His mom's final words to her son is, I fucking hate you, you suck. Great. Might as well have slapped him for the second time, because she slapped him a big one in the movie. Might as well have just slapped him again before you died. So Athena. Okay. So one thing I noticed, all of her guards are female. Just a little something I had to notice. There was no male Athena guards. It's all female guards. Pretty much all the guards in this movie are female, except for one who's played by Cameron Monaghan, who I was like, oh shit, Cameron, that's awesome. He's there for 2 seconds before he dies. I think he said he trained for months for this movie. You were there for 2 seconds and then you fucking die. Great waste of Cameron, because he could have been cool, I guess. Great. So yeah, I did notice that about Athena. All her guards are female. Just a little something you notice, huh? Just a little something. Athena as a character is fucking, I don't care. I don't care about Athena in the slightest. She's like, your typical second in command who usurps the commander when he defects type of thing. And of course they have to make it that when she dies at the end, it's a sympathetic death. She was just following orders, guys. That's it. Don't you feel sorry for her? Not in the slightest. I think Ares should have killed her. Once Ares gets the permanence code and he's out in the real world, he turns blue instead of red. I did like that. That was a good thing that he turns blue when he gets the permanence code and he's permanent because he's fully good now. I did like that moment. But what I didn't like is immediately after he fights Athena and her 2 guards and he can't fucking take them. It's a struggle for him to beat them. Motherfucker, when you were in the Legacy grid, you guys were destroying like 5 programs at a time. What do you mean you can't handle your fucking second in command and her 2 Jamoke guards? What the fuck is this? During the fight with Athena, she pretty much beats him most of it too. Like, of course she does, right? Ah, God. So then once, they have the permanence code, and Ares gives it to Eve, and she makes it public. She gets pretty much all the credit Sam should have gotten again, right? Because she gets all the credit for her video game. She makes like a new Space Paranoids, right? Then it's like, oh, because of Eve Kim discovering the permanence code, now we have, hunger's gone because we can just make food from the grid, and we found cure for cancer because of the permanence code. Like all this stuff that Kevin Flynn was talking about with the ISOs and Legacy that Sam was supposed to do and show the world, they just give it to Eve. Because of course they do. So the movie ends with Ares. He has a thing about Korra, where he has a picture of Korra and it says last seen, like last known location, kind of teasing like, oh, Ares can go find Korra. You're not doing shit with this movie. This movie's not gonna lead to fucking anything. And then the mid-credit scene is Dillinger is now in the grid because when the fucking police show up at his door, he digitizes himself into the grid. And the mid-credit scene is he's in the grid and then he sees an identity disc and he becomes Sark from the first Tron. Why? For no fucking reason. Just because you guys remember Sark, right? Fuck off. And that's Tron Ares in a nutshell. This is more of a reboot than it is a sequel. Like, they hate fucking Legacy. They hate Tron Legacy in this movie. You can feel just the hatred they have for Tron Legacy and everything Tron Legacy stands for in this movie. You can feel it. They hate the fact that Tron Legacy was about Sam. They hate the fact that it was about a father and a son story, about the son overcoming what the sins the father made and stepping up and finally taking in what his father's legacy was. They hate that. They hate it so much in this movie. They show you by shitting on Sam, by taking him the fuck out, by destroying the Tron Legacy grid. Like, fucking shit, man. There is, like I said, there is no Sam. There is no Korra. There's no Alan. There's no Tron. There's no Tron in the Tron movie. But like Nerd Cookie said, that is maybe a blessing. Because with a script as poor as this, with a movie as poor as this, I don't know if you could have done them justice. I don't trust you to treat Sam Flynn right. I don't trust you to ruin Korra and make her an insufferable girl boss. I don't trust you to degrade Tron even more and have a new female program step up. I don't trust you with any of this. Which, by the way, even though Sam and Korra aren't in the movie, they at least get, like, brief nods. There's fucking nothing about Alan Bradley. He doesn't exist. He's just fucking gone. And while I am going through this movie, right? Going through the plot points. And I've said multiple times, right? That should have been Sam. Oh, that was probably going to be about Korra. This movie is Tron Ascension, but Frankenstein. They took Tron Ascension, they took that script, they gutted it, and they Frankensteined it back together with their other ideas, and that's what we have. Because there are ideas here where you're like, oh yeah, that was going to be explored after Tron Legacy. And oh yeah, that was going to be Sam doing this. Oh, that was going to be Korra doing this. The permanence code is Korra. That is Korra. Her ISO DNA is the permanence code. They aren't even subtle enough to change it, because when you see the permanence code in like a physical form, it's the fucking double helix. It's the DNA. Like, they're not even subtle enough to change that. So this movie is the Tron Ascension script just fucking gutted. Right? They just gutted that script to make this one. And that pisses me the fuck off. It really does. What's his name? Joseph Kosinski, who directed Tron Legacy. He was credited in this movie as an executive producer, and that I saw his name and I went, he is only here because they're taking bits from Tron Ascension, his other script, and they have to credit him for it. All right? Because being executive, because you'll see people be like, what are you talking about? He was involved. No, he was credited. That doesn't mean he was involved. That means they took what he had done previously and credited him for it. Remember how even in the Justice League cut, they still credit Zack Snyder, even though he wasn't part of the production after, because he left, right? Still have to credit him because they still have some of his stuff. That's what they probably did here, too. And that makes me mad, because Tron Ascension would have been light years better than this. Acting in this movie. It's fucking awful. There's no emotion in anyone in this movie. Some of the line deliveries are just fucking cringe as shit. Athena is stoic, can't fucking act to save her life. Eve Kim can't emote to save her life. There's another guy called AJ who's one of Eve's like tech guys. His line deliveries were fucking awful. The best actor in this movie was Jared Leto as Ares, and because he does do a good job of starting emotionless, but then as the movie gets on, he does progressively get more animated and more like shows more emotion. Like, he does a good job there. And Evan Peters as Julian he's pretty good, but he's just tech bro Elon Musk allegory, right? Because that's what it always is now. But most of the acting in this movie's god awful. Jeff Bridges even was like, he didn't give a fuck. He was reading the lines. He's here for the paycheck. Good for you, Jeff. Yeah. This movie, I wouldn't say was overtly filled with stuff like The Message or any DEI, ESG stuff. I wouldn't say it's like that. It's just fucking boring and bad. It's just a bad movie. Right? And there is some messaging stuff. Like I told you, they subvert Sam Flynn, get rid of him to put in a strong female character instead. Yes, they do that. Same thing with Ares. Ares is usurped by a strong female, diverse character, which I wasn't thinking about that when watching the movie. I'm like, oh, Eve's Asian, blah, blah, blah. I'm not that ethnicity. Same thing with Athena. Like, because I'm imagining, could I see a male character doing this? Yes, I could. Could I see a white character doing this? Yes, I could. So ethnicity didn't fucking mean anything to me. In this movie, that wasn't a big talking point or a selling point about this movie like it is other times where they do stress, hey, we've got a black female character in this, guy's woo. That wasn't a thing in this one. All right? So that wasn't in my head while I was doing this. So I wouldn't say that part is here, right? No DEI shit like that is in here. Messaging and stuff like that, there's a bit in it. Yeah, like I say, there's the undercurrent. But I wouldn't say it's overly in your face, right? I noticed this shit because I've had to deal with it for like the past like 7 fucking years, right? So I noticed this shit, but it's not overtly in your face like other movies. The problem with the movie is that the plot is shit. This plot isn't like a good story in the slightest. AI, right? Because the AI is the bad guy in this movie, right? And like that previous picture we looked at, or the previous review, which is that, you wish AI would hurry up and destroy Hollywood. AI would have written a better fucking movie, I think. If you had just given it the prompt, write a sequel to Tron Legacy based off of the Tron Ascension script featuring Sam Flynn, Korra, Alan Bradley, Tron, and going off what was set up in Legacy, and you type send, put that into the fucking AI, it would have written a better movie than this. In fact, it would have had more soul in it than this one does. Because this movie, at the end of the day, is a soulless corporate slop. It is it's devoid of any love or affection for Tron. And any sort of like nostalgia in it is seen as them going, all right, throw them a bone, right? Like, oh, you guys remember Tron? Like, they don't give a fuck, right? Like, it's soulless corporate Disney slop. And it's just another flop to add to the already flops they've had this year. Cap 4, Thunderbolts, Fantastic Four, Snow White, Elio, none of them made money. They were all been Disney flops. So you can add now 6 Disney flops this year. Yes, there will be people saying, but what about Lilo and Stitch? That made over $1 billion. It did. It did, and it made its money, and that was a success for Disney. The problem is that after Lilo and Stitch, we got fuck all. You got Elio flopping, you got Fantastic Four flopping, you might have got Thunderbolts. I don't know if Thunderbolts was before or after Lilo and Stitch. But you definitely got Fantastic Four and Elio flopping, which negates all the positive that movie did, all the money and revenue that movie brought in. Those movies flopping completely negate it. So that's why this has been a horrible year for Disney. It's been a shit year for Disney at the box office, and Tron Ares ain't helping. If we go to the box office, at time of recording, we only have the box office for the Thursday preview for the... Oh, actually, hold on a minute. Is that Thursday? No, we have Sunday, Saturday, Friday, because Friday's day one, and then the Thursday box office preview. Yes. So the Thursday preview night for Tron Ares was $4,800,000. Okay, that's the opening preview, but it's a Thursday. Okay, so it's opening night, October 10th, Friday. $14 million at the box office. That is a fucking awful opening weekend. An opening day. An opening day. That is a awful fucking opening day at the box office. To compare that with other movies, Conjuring the Last Rites, which debuted with $34 million at the box office, and everyone's favorite Demon Slayer started off with almost $33 million on opening weekend, opening day, and Tron Ares is at $14 million. Now, to put that in perspective, it's beaten other movies this year. It's beaten Elio, definitely. It beat Good Boy. It beat One Battle After Another, the Antifa propaganda movie. Tron Ares has beaten that, which does make me happy. It's beaten The Smashing Machine. So when people say, oh my god, that's one of the best opening, day box offices, that's a sad statement of the box office and where we are with theaters. But if we move on then to the second day, Saturday, we go down to almost 11 million. It's 10,923,000. So we're almost at 11 million. So we drop 24%. But then if we go to Sunday, we drop to 7,913,000 at the box office. So we went down now. We are now out of the double millions. We are now into the singular millions. So at the time of recording, which is Tuesday, October 14th, we don't have the Monday box office yet. But my fucking god, man, that is not a good box office at all. It's really not. You can compare it to other movies this year and be like, well, it's better than such and such. But again, that's a detriment to where we are with movies nowadays, which is there's no good movies out for people to go to the theaters. And Tron Ares is not going to change that. Tron Ares is not a movie worth going to see in the theaters. Like, at all. Nowhere near is it. Like, a good freaking, like, a good movie enough to go and see. Like, not in the slightest. So, as I wind down here, for Tron Ares, I've made my points, I've made my statements about the movie. Tron Ares is another example that Disney can't be trusted with IPs. Never put your faith in Disney that they can do something right, because they will always screw it up. And they will always ruin your favorite franchises. They will always do it, and they've been doing it for years now. Star Wars with the Star Wars sequels, Indiana Jones 5, the Willow TV show, National Treasure, Doctor Who, pretty much everything Marvel post-Endgame. And now you can add Tron to the list of the various things that they have destroyed. Disney can't be trusted with other people's IPs they've bought. They can't even be trusted with the IPs they do own. Overall, Tron Ares, it's got a wonderful soundtrack, a visually stunning and beautiful movie with bits and pieces that I think are interesting, but that comes from a better script that was written years ago. Overall, Tron Ares, from me, gets about a 4 out of 10. It is a 4 for the wonderful soundtrack and the wonderful visuals and the brief bits where I can tell there was something that was going to happen but was changed because we had untalented writers come in and hack and slash the actual script. So it gets a 4 out of 10 from me. That's what I think of Tron Ares. If you've seen Tron Ares, what do you think in the comments down below? Let me know. And I will see you guys all next time.